Okay, trigger warning. So I say trigger warning because I'm about to tell my truth. And my truth might be triggering to some people, but I will argue that the people that's triggered by it, y'all probably the ones that need to hear it. So thankfully I'm getting paid for this conversation. Not because I'm an influencer, not because I'm on TikTok getting paid, but because I'm on a contract right now, right? And so I'm just put it in my heart just to really have this conversation. I don't often share my truths because I understand that life is like a realm of lies and facts, right? But the understanding that people have of facts or it's something that could be proven. But everything ain't meant to be understood. I watch 8-year-olds have a conversation about God. Well, if God created all things, who created him? Well, God created all things. It's not really productive, right? And how I feel about something ain't, don't make it a fact. Don't make it truth, right? People have to settle on their own truth, especially in the world we live in, we exist in, because it's AI driven and truths can be developed and everyone has their own truth and their own truth will ultimately lead them down a road that predetermines whether they become good people or bad people. So I can only really speak for me. So that's why I say my truth. Well, my truth is I was born with a demon in me. I hurt so many people. I hurt myself more than anybody, right? Amazing how looking outward at my community and aspiring to be like somebody who was really scared, right? They say they'll pop some shit off, but I mean, let's be real. When it came down to it, they were gonna pop shit off, but I feel like that's what you're supposed to do, pop shit off. And they looked up like, God damn, this nigga really popping shit off, right? And it's crazy because I won't even blame it on them, right? I feel like people's demons ultimately trigger other demons, right? So like what we don't understand about ourselves, right? Like people are so scared. A demon, that's evil. Well, a demon is a fallen angel, right? And I'm gonna tell you how I come to that conclusion. So if y'all go and y'all look at the Bible, right, that book, not saying that, I'm not trying to make this religious. I don't even talk about religion like that because I ain't trying to push what I believe on nobody else. I want people to have their own understanding. They're entitled to it. God gave us, the greatest gift God gave humanity, according to that book, was free will, the right to decide, right? But you first gotta understand before you can decide, right? It's like, hey, you wanna buy this timeshare in Stone Mountain, Georgia, right? Bruh, you not, why would I buy it? You need to know that first, right? They're gonna try to hold you there until you sign that paper and give them the money and put that deposit down so you can have that timeshare. But you deserve the right and the time to decide if that's something you wanna do, right? Or something you wanna believe in or something you feel like is necessary, right? But so, yeah, and if you go to that book and you look, right, there was 8 people on Noah's Ark. I'm gonna tell y'all who, but say it's family, right? Out of the 8 people on Noah's Ark, I think it might have been 9 including Noah, or it might have been 8 including, I'm not 100% sure, but if you go and you look at the fact it was 8 people there, right? God said the only person whose blood was untainted was Noah's. All right. Now, and this for y'all young folk, like they really probably gonna be for the old heads, the unks. You feel me? Like, but for the young folks, if you hear what I'm saying, you stuck around long enough to hear this, I want you to actually go look at what I'm saying and use this against them make pretend people that try to force you into religion, that try to force you into the church, that try to force you into their nonsense. And I know there's gonna be a lot of folks don't like this. That's why I said trigger warning. It's all right, you might need to hear it though. So now it was 8 people on the ark. Noah was the only one whose blood was untainted. Now let's ask ourselves this question. What is an angel? What is a devil? What is a demon, right? The evil, the angel, the unforeseen. Right now, everything exists on positive and negative. There's a equal to every opposite, right? Every reaction has an opposite reaction, right? Or equal reaction, right? Whatever the fuck, I ain't gonna go into all that, right? I ain't that smart, right? But Yeah, in that book, in that book, it literally tell you, right, that God wiped out humanity because angels came from heaven and started laying with women. And then God casted those angels or those whatever those angels from heaven, which thus created what we understand to be a demon, right? And they fornicated, they had sex with the human women, right? Because Satan convinced them, because he moved shit, right? And he convinced them to come down and have sex with these women, and they created giants out of it, right? This thus creating the understanding of, right, we weren't around by that time. Right now, that sounds unthinkable. That sounds crazy. A giant? But then there's people that's walking around 7 foot tall. I'm just saying. Like, right, but whatever. Right, we ain't gonna go that deep into it. But like, came down, cast them from heaven, flooded out the earth to get rid of the impurities. But still allowed 8 of those people on that boat, or 7 of those people on that boat, to exist after the flood, after he wiped out humanity, despite the fact that their blood was impure, because they were offspring or akin to Noah. And let's go a step further. God even allowed Noah to warn people and tell them, hey, this is what's coming. They ain't listen. But so many more could have existed, right? And assume that they did, then they were still a byproduct of, right? Because the world had gotten so bad. The angels came down and had sex with so many women that they then created the offspring of all these evil entities, all these giants. The world then got so out of place, right? Not saying like every single one of them was right, but again, Noah's blood, listen to the word tainted. Noah's blood was the only one whose blood wasn't tainted. So that means that his daughter and his offspring and whoever else was on that with him, blood was tainted. That don't mean they're evil. That don't mean that they're bad people. That just means that their blood was tainted. That means that they were a byproduct of that evil or that circumstance, right? Now, for the longest, I'm trying to figure it out. People tell me, man, for as long as I can remember, man, you're an angel. You're an angel. You're an angel. You're an angel. And I used to be like, man, I ain't no angel. I don't have no clue what I done did, right? Having been backed in the corner multiple times, I did what I had to do, right? I live with that shit every day. Shit didn't affect my sleep. Even in my own household, like order, order, order. I was a controlling individual until I realized that problem wasn't me. I mean, it wasn't them, it's me, right? Like, I need to control everything, bro. I'm not in control of nothing. I'm not in control of nothing, but something inside of me always told me to be in control. I could never be at peace because I was constantly fighting to be in control, be the biggest, be the baddest, do some shit that's gonna rock their world, bro. Be the best. But I could never be the best, right? Because the same way God created me, he created so many more, right? So 2020, something started happening inside of me, bro. Like I started getting keyed into like so much stuff, bro. Like if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. If I told you, I could tell you what the future looked like. You wouldn't believe me, bro. You're swapping down. I'm a crazy man. Feed them pills. Like, but I started keying into something else. And in that instant, I also started a battle within self too. I started looking in that mirror and looking at me for exactly who I am. And I ain't perfect now. I still got growing to do, right? But the fact that I looked in that mirror made me a better person. I will say that, right? But like, yeah, I started looking into that mirror. And when I started looking into that mirror, I felt like, oh man, what then? I kind of like how these people be talking about when they first find Jesus. I been knew Jesus. I been knew God. I been knew they existed, right? But kind of how they find Jesus for the first time and they want to scream it out to everybody, right? They just feel like they're better than everybody, right? But I was in that headspace when I first started facing myself and facing my demon. And I put the chains on them for the first time, then the second time, then the third time, because before that, You don't know what I don't know what you might have gotten, bro. Honestly, I was more scared of me than I'm still more scared of me than anybody else. And it's a day-to-day battle trying to keep this motherfucker chained up because I can't get rid of him. I had to come to that realization too. He gonna always exist inside of me. And he could do good or he could do bad. So now my focus is just to change him. Turn him back into what he once was, an angel. Stand him back to God's glory, right? But that's what I think, right? Don't make it truth. But nonetheless, when I got into that situation, I started thinking, man, bro, these people are so dumb. They don't even understand. They don't even understand. I started feeling like I was better than everybody else. But as time has went by, I started to notice some shit. Like, there's a bunch of people. Something happened. I don't know what it was, bro. And I know it's somebody watching this right now that getting chills because they feel it too. Something happened, bro. People started changing. I remember being young and thinking about evolution, how we got arms, eyes, nose, ears, right? Hands, fingers, toes. I remember thinking that shit, bro. Like, when is the next evolution? What is the next evolution, right? And then I started seeing like ADD, indigo children, shit like that, right? I started hearing little things about that. People be like, you an indigo child. They used to tell me that, and I was like, go look it up, right? What is that, right? But people are evolving. People are evolving, even like, so I made the joke about the kids, like they talking about God, right? And they doing circles. But the fact that they was even talking about God at 8 years old is crazy to me. But people all around the world right now is waking up. They starting to see it, which means that we must be getting close to something. I'll give y'all another one and I gotta go because I gotta go fix this though. But all right, so the mark of the beast said that people will be marked in their right hand. I'm gonna show y'all something, bro. Right now, I had to use my left, so I got my left right now, but you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade without the mark. Well, when I two-click and it get my face and I put it to that thing, I'm already walking around with it. I still gotta survive. My kids still gotta eat. I still gotta buy, sell, and trade. So I'm still moving around with it, even though I know what it is. I have no choice. Nobody has a choice in that. Nobody can change that. A lot of things that were said in that book have come to pass. Not saying that I believe everything in that book is to be the truth, the way that people tell it. Because everybody has their own understanding. God gave us free will. Free will is nothing without a mind. And if you don't fight, you can't win. If you don't quit, you can't lose. You gotta stand for something. You're gonna fall for anything. All these terminologies, bro. First one I created, but all these terminologies that we grew up hearing, we don't never really understand them until we get old, until we get older, right? You know, I'm fighting to learn all this and understand all this before I turn 75, right? While I can still make a difference. Every day is trying to do something to make humanity that much more greater, right? And you know, partially, I ain't gonna lie, part of it is guilt because I know my past and I need to make up for the wrongs that I did, right? But then again, it wouldn't be no me if it wasn't no then, right? So, but y'all gotta really look around y'all, man. Look in the self, look inward, bro. Look inward. If you mad at anybody else, you ain't even mad at them, you mad at a demon. And if you fighting somebody else, bro, real shit, you're not even fighting them, you fighting yourself. It's a lot harder for me to, I swear to God, a lot of y'all not on the way over here. Dude came over, he almost hit us in the back. I got off at the light, bro. I jumped out the car, bro. Immediately was mad. By the time I got to his window, I chained my demon back up. I looked to him, I said, hey, bro, I love you, my nigga. I see you got the phone in your hand. You ain't even know. I knocked on that window. I was at your window for about a good minute before you even realized I was there, bro. He rolled the window down immediately. Oh, shit, like, nigga, we finna pop it off. Thinking, automatically going in here. I looked down on my smart. I said, man, I ain't come for all that rah-rah shit. I ain't come over to put my hands on you, if that what you thinking, brother. All I'm saying is, bro, I got love for you, bro. You feel me? We one and the same, even though we so different. Man, get out the phone, concentrate, bro. Get out the phone, concentrate, bro. I want you to make it home safe, dog. Real shit. That nigga said, He looked at me, looked confused for a second. He said, man, I appreciate that. And that was back in the day. I would have, as soon as he rolled that window down, I would have went in his shit. Right? But that's what I'm saying. It's the difference. It's the difference. It was so much harder for me to, but it felt good to kind of like go through that interaction and see that I had that control over me. You feel me? Because most people walking around, they got no control over self, bro. We all living in a broken matrix. This shit ain't what y'all think it is, bro. Y'all keep talking about these aliens. These ain't aliens, bro. These ain't aliens. People, they been there. People just now starting to see them for a reason. These ain't aliens. So, hopefully, this resonate with somebody, bro. Hopefully, it makes some type of change. I know it'll probably be restricted. TikTok won't let it get out. YouTube won't let it get out. And I'm sure there's gonna be some people coming for me if it do. Right? So it's either, it's gonna be give or take. Either they gonna suppress it, or I'm gonna have a bunch of evil ass people going tick for tack on what I said and reposting it, talking about what I said. But what I said is my truth. As I said in the beginning, you ain't gotta believe it. You might not understand it. You might not believe it because you don't understand it right now. But give yourself 15 years if you live that long. Right? Perhaps listening will give you 15 years. Perhaps 15 more years living anyways, right? Perhaps not listening will give you 15 more years. 15 more years in the penitentiary, right? You'll never even be able to realize who you actually are. Some of y'all are listening to this and you'll still be in the motherfucking penitentiary. And you'll be thinking back to this video like, bro, had I listened to that nigga, man, I ain't understand it then. But had I listened to him, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have thrown my life away. I'd be someone completely different. So, peace, love, and blessings to y'all, man. Fear not, fear nothing. Fight. The world ain't over. In biblical sense, God spoke of a new beginning. And the new beginning has already come. So the prophecies you see unfolding before you ain't nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. It's a correction happening. People are starting to become more than what they ever knew they could be. And my projection, the next 15, 20 years, say that 15 for a reason. Next 15, 20 years, y'all gonna come to see that a lot of people will go through pain, strife. But people will transform into something completely different. We won't be what we once were. Weak, scared, afraid, putting on, chasing clout, trying to be famous. So, until next time, I'm gonna try to post more, don't really have the time, and don't really give a fuck about the clout, so I don't do it, but I hope that this can be informative, and I hope that it changes some of y'all lives. I love y'all. Let me see who this is. Yo.